Hello and welcome to this India Today special. Corona times have disrupted businesses and indeed the global economy. Joining us today is a very special guest. He's non-executive chairperson of Infosys, was the founding chairperson of Aadhaar, the unique identity system. We're joined today by Nandan Nilekani. Appreciate your joining us, Mr. Nilekani. Let me first ask you, I hope that lockdown time is treating you and your family well.
We are safe in Bangalore. I haven't really moved much out of my home in the last 3 months, but it's, I think related to the kind of challenges other people are facing, I think we are much better.
That's good to know, Mr. Nilekani. Let's come down to those challenges, though, of lockdown times. And I want to start with the so-called great disruption that's taking place in businesses the world over. How has Corona, in your view, and the lockdown disrupted business models in general and the IT sector in particular?
Well, obviously, it has had a huge impact on business because lockdown means people stay at home, people don't travel. So any business that depends on a face-to-face interaction, like a restaurant, a bar, a shop, or a haircutting salon, or anything that involves travel or hospitality, like airlines, hotels, have all got pretty badly hit in the last 3 months. And we are seeing the impact of that. On the other hand, there are businesses that are where you can work from home, which are not so much human interaction based, but digital based. And those have done better because they don't really face the kind of disruption, provided they're able to provide connectivity to all their employees. Like at Infosys, 240,000 employees in 46 countries were able to work from home, 93% within a matter of weeks. So I think this has really been bipolar in that sense, that businesses that are in the face-to-face human contact kind of businesses have been badly hit, whereas those that have a digital approach, probably including yours, have been less badly hit.
In that sense, Mr. Nilekani, do you see in this crisis possibly an opportunity, particularly for those in the information technology and digital technology business, using artificial intelligence, automation, to try and sort of recraft the businesses? Do you see that happening now much more in the future?
Oh, absolutely. I think this has brought the whole world into a new way of doing things. As you know, even the Indian Supreme Court is conducting all its cases over video conferencing. Every business is looking at how to become more digital, how to make it contactless, how to deliver more services and products in a safe manner. So this is leading to a lot of rethinking of how business should be organized. And there's also a speed element. Decisions that would have taken months and years are now being taken in weeks because of the situation. So I think this has a big impact, and it's an opportunity for firms to help in this transformation.
So is this, in a sense, Mr. Nilekani, going to be a new normal in the way businesses are done, that they will be increasingly done in the virtual online world, perhaps not face-to-face? We're already seeing this in education, in which you have invested a lot, but are we going to see an exponential growth possibly in online education and indeed across sectors as the new normal?
Well, I think the new normal will be post the pandemic, which will, I think, be a hybrid where you will have a combination of digital delivery, but where person-to-person contact is required, you will have that. For example, I think when things get back to normal post-pandemic, of course, children will be back in schools, employees will be back in offices, but they will also, combine that with digital delivery. So I think the current situation is not really the normal. It is what we're dealing with because of the pandemic. The new normal is going to be a combination of digital and physical, sort of a hybrid model, and that will apply to education or any business, banking, whichever business it is, it's going to be a combination of the two.
So are you, Mr. Nilekani, telling me that you're more optimistic than many others are I've heard enough of people say that this is the onset of a Great Depression, growth rate slowing down, service sector badly hit, lots of jobs being lost. Are you worried about the immediate future, or do you believe this is temporary and a year from now things will get better as people adjust to this new normal in a way?
Obviously, it's a crisis that is unprecedented in the world. It affects every one of us, every individual, every business, every nation, every society. So obviously, it's unprecedented in its scale and scope, and it is going to leave huge scars on businesses. Many people are going to be unemployed. We have seen the challenges of jobs. In many ways, this is going to be a setback to our efforts to eliminate poverty. So, I mean, this is a big one. But within that, in some areas like IT, for example, IT has been relatively less affected for the reasons I mentioned. Of course, some of the customers of the IT companies are deeply affected, so that also has its implications. But by and large, this sector is slightly, I think, more secluded from the overall situation. But overall, I think it's a pretty difficult situation, and you can expect negative growth of the economy all over the world. You are going to see recession, you are going to see a lot of job loss. All that is definitely there, and overall for the economy, it's quite a big setback.
Do you then see it, from what I can gather, that Mr. Nilekani, this is a moment to recraft businesses in a way, and in the way individuals also look at the future? I remember you pushed for years the idea of a digital India. We're now seeing countries like Singapore actually using this lockdown to push artificial intelligence, data analytics, sensors in the healthcare sector itself to make lives easier, safer and smarter in a sense for their citizens. Do you see that happening more and more with more use of apps like Arogya Setu possibly? Is there a model there that India could embrace in the future?
Absolutely, it is going to be transformational, and this is the opportunity for us to look at all our activities, be it in business or government, and see how we can reimagine them in a post-pandemic world with this hybrid digital physical model. And I think now there's also the appetite for doing that. I talked about how the Supreme Court is conducting all its hearings on video conferencing. They have implemented AI for machine translation of English to Indian languages and back. So I see greater acceptance of digitization across the board in business, government, and society. So I do believe that while this is a terrible crisis, we will be able to perhaps accelerate the digital transformation of India.
To that extent, Mr. Nilekani, do you think that the Modi government is on the right track, pushing this idea of digital India, of more and more transactions through apps, that the benefits of this perhaps could now be seen in the months and years ahead?
No, I think definitely this government has given a very high priority to digitization, and Digital India, as you know, was launched 5 years back on July 1st, 2015. And many of the things that we have today, the Aadhaar payment bridge, the DigiLocker, which has literally billions of documents, which are all paperless, the payment systems, all this has been possible because the government has put its weight behind digitization. The GST system, which is a single tax system for the country, the fast tax system, which allows you to pay your, tolls in a contact-free manner. You just drive through the toll gate and it deducts the money. All these things are, thanks to government creating national population scale digital goods, which are coming handy in this crisis.
On the flip side, Mr. Nilekani, as we saw in the early weeks of the lockdown, the urban poor getting left out, many of them being forced to re-migrate back to their villages. Is there a concern that the digital divide in society could also widen in the times in which we live, that there will be greater inequalities as people lose jobs, and bridging that will not be easy through just a digital India concept?
No, I agree with you. I think anything that has so much of technology can lead to an inclusion bias. For example, online education doesn't mean anything to somebody who doesn't have a phone, and so on. So we have to be very sensitive to this and create solutions. For example, the way the government is thinking is not only they will be online on your device, but you'll also have it on the radio, on television. You'll have worksheets that you can print at a neighborhood CSC. So, there have been many thoughts about how to make it inclusive. I think one of the things that we could have done was really implement nationwide portability of benefits. We did that for cash. So the AEPS system is nationwide. I can withdraw money anywhere in the country. So if I'm a migrant, I can, whether in the city or the village, I can withdraw money. But the PDS system was not. In fact, I had done a report in 2011 for creating a nationwide portable PDS system, but that was not implemented. And now they're implementing that one ration card, one nation kind of thing. So I think absolutely we have to be very, very sensitive to creating technologies that are highly portable, where the people have a choice, they can access it anywhere, and that we have to be sensitive. For example, in our payments, there's one model of, you can use UPI for smartphone payments, you can use UPI for feature phone payments, which both together about 2/3 of the country, and you can use Aadhaar-enabled payments for those who don't have a phone, but do have an Aadhaar number and a bank account, which is much more common. So I think everything has to be designed so that it's universal in its access.